What if the loudest feud in late-night politics isn't really about politics at all? Imagine two public figures who seem to live on opposite planets. One, a sharp-tongued Fox News comic who treats every headline like a setup for a punchline. The other, a social media superstar congresswoman who turns every policy debate into a viral clip. Greg Gutfeld and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have spent years trading jabs across TV screens and timelines, but their latest clash has turned into something bigger than a typical cable news spat. When Gutfeld torched AOC's newest rent control comments in a fiery monologue, she didn't duck for cover. She fired back online and triggered a storm of trending hashtags that lit up both conservative and progressive feeds. Ratings spiked, donations flowed, memes multiplied. And while each side claimed moral victory, one question kept surfacing. Are they enemies locked in an endless battle, or business partners quietly cashing in on the outrage economy? Tonight, we're peeling back the noise to expose how this strange rivalry keeps both of them at the top of the conversation and why the next round might be the most explosive yet. The newest flashpoint erupted when Gutfeld seized on AOC's remarks about rent control and what she called luxury capitalism. During a primetime monologue, he framed her comments as proof that progressive economics is less about helping tenants and more about grabbing attention. With his trademark smirk, Gutfeld joked that her plan sounded like a Kickstarter for chaos, a line that instantly ricocheted across social media. Clips of the segment flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram within hours, generating millions of views and a wave of heated debate. Supporters of Gutfeld cheered the takedown as a reality check, while AOC's base countered with posts accusing Fox of deliberate distortion. Instead of ignoring the jab, AOC doubled down, firing off a pointed Twitter thread claiming that conservative media secretly needs her to stay relevant. The exchange became a trending topic overnight, sparking dueling hashtags that turned what could have been a dry policy discussion into a digital showdown. By morning, cable news producers were booking panels, podcasts were dissecting every line, and the stage was set for a ratings bonanza that neither Gutfeld nor AOC seemed eager to avoid. AOC didn't let the Fox monologue linger unanswered. Within minutes of the clip spreading, she unleashed a carefully crafted Twitter thread that blended sharp humor with pointed critique. She accused Gutfeld of performing outrage for clicks, framing his rant as proof that conservative media can't quit her even when discussing housing policy. Instead of a dry rebuttal, she mixed policy details with sly jabs, comparing his jokes to reheated leftovers served as breaking news. Her replies sparked a surge of retweets from progressive influencers who praised her for calling out the circus, while amplifying her own message on affordable housing. Conservative commentators quickly countered, claiming her thread proved she thrives on the attention she pretends to reject. The back and forth morphed into a digital ping-pong match, each tweet spawning reaction videos, memes, and dueling fundraising appeals. By the end of the night, hashtags like #GutfeldObsessed and #AOCClapback were trending side by side, a perfect illustration of how their rivalry feeds both audiences. What looked like a simple exchange of insults had become a viral event, ensuring that the feud and the buzz would dominate the next news cycle. Behind the fiery tweets and cutting punchlines lies a simple truth. Conflict equals clicks, and both Greg Gutfeld and AOC know it. Every time their names collide in a headline, cable ratings surge and social media algorithms light up like a jackpot machine. Fox producers track these spikes in real time, noting that segments featuring AOC consistently outperform routine political chatter. Gutfeld's late-night show thrives on this pattern, using her as the perfect foil for his comedic rants. On the other side, AOC's campaign team watches fundraising dashboards jump within hours of a viral Fox segment, proving that outrage can be monetized as effectively as it can be mocked. Advertisers, podcast hosts, and political action committees quietly celebrate the feud, knowing that each barb drives engagement across platforms. Viewers may believe they're witnessing an unscripted clash of ideas, but the metrics tell a different story. Every insult, every clapback, every meme is also a marketing event. In the attention economy, their rivalry isn't just entertainment, it's a revenue engine that rewards both combatants for keeping the spotlight burning bright. Long before this latest flare-up, Gutfeld and AOC had already built a catalog of headline-grabbing exchanges that trained audiences to expect fireworks whenever their names intersect. Their earliest skirmishes date back to 2019, when AOC rolled out the Green New Deal and Gutfeld mocked it as a fantasy draft for climate fan fiction. That dismissive one-liner became a recurring punchline on his panel shows, sparking an endless stream of memes about cow emissions and government bans on cheeseburgers. When AOC used Instagram Live to broadcast her policy breakdowns during the pandemic, Gutfeld turned her casual kitchen chats into comedic fodder, joking that her ring light debates were reality TV disguised as legislation. He also pounced on her "Tax the Rich" Met Gala dress in 2021, riffing that the slogan belonged on a billboard outside a luxury car dealership. Each episode added another layer to their public dynamic. She delivered bold proposals and fiery speeches. He answered with sarcastic takedowns and razor-edged quips. Over time, what started as a series of isolated sound bites evolved into an ongoing saga, a ready-made rivalry that both sides could revive whenever ratings needed a jolt or a new controversy came along. Among all their past encounters, few generated as much viral energy as the 2021 Met Gala, when AOC arrived in a sleek white gown emblazoned with the words, "Tax the Rich." The dress was meant as a bold statement about economic inequality, but it quickly became comedy gold for Greg Gutfeld. On his show that night, he quipped that the slogan belonged on a luxury credit card ad and joked that the only tax happening at the gala was the surcharge on champagne refills. Clips of his monologue spread across Twitter before the red carpet photos even stopped trending, giving Fox the rare double win of political commentary and pop culture buzz. AOC, never one to let a punchline go unanswered, defended her outfit as a conversation starter and reminded critics that she borrowed the dress from an independent designer. Yet the internet had already chosen chaos. Memes merged the slogan with everything from sports jerseys to fast food bags, while both conservative and progressive commentators dissected the optics of attending a high-priced event while promoting economic justice. What could have been a single-day fashion debate instead became a week-long ratings bonanza, proving that a clever wardrobe choice can fuel the feud as effectively as any floor speech. If the Met Gala put AOC's message on a couture canvas, her Instagram Lives turned everyday moments into a non-stop content factory, and Gutfeld couldn't resist mining it for punchlines. During the pandemic, she frequently went live from her kitchen, casually chopping vegetables while unpacking dense policy ideas in plain language. Supporters loved the intimacy. Critics called it performative politics. Gutfeld saw a comedic playground. On his show, he joked that her ring light deserved a congressional salary and teased that every avocado she sliced came with a side of economic revolution. Viewers eagerly shared side-by-side edits of her cooking and his commentary, creating a feedback loop where each new stream guaranteed fresh material for late-night mockery. AOC, far from retreating, leaned into the medium using live Q&As to challenge Fox's narratives and to rally younger voters who treat Instagram like a digital town square. The result was a perfect storm of engagement. Her casual chats became headline fodder, his sarcastic reactions fueled ratings, and audiences on both sides tuned in not just for politics, but for the unpredictable spectacle of a congresswoman and a comedian turning social media into a perpetual sparring ring. By now, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Every clash between Greg Gutfeld and AOC strengthens both of their brands, even as they publicly insist the other is irrelevant. Gutfeld gets a reliable source of punchlines that keep his ratings high and his audience entertained. AOC gains free national exposure, allowing her to fundraise and recruit supporters far beyond her district without buying a single ad. Each insult functions like a secret handshake. With their respective bases, his viewers revel in the mockery, her followers celebrate the clapbacks. Political strategists on both sides quietly admit that the feud is mutually beneficial, likening it to a professional wrestling storyline where everyone knows the script but still cheers the drama. Social media analytics back it up. Mentions of either name spike whenever the other delivers a jab, and both see follower surges after a high-profile exchange. It's a feedback loop powered by outrage, humor, and algorithmic reward. What looks like a bitter rivalry may actually be a carefully maintained ecosystem where conflict is the currency, and neither side can afford to let the tension fade completely. Behind the scenes, whispers of calculated strategy swirl around this ongoing rivalry, adding another layer of intrigue to the public spectacle. Conservative insiders have long hinted that Fox executives quietly encourage Gutfeld to keep AOC in his rotation because she's a proven ratings magnet. Leaked strategy memos from a 2024 midterm planning session allegedly described her as the gift that keeps giving, citing data showing viewer spikes whenever her name appears in a segment title. On the other side, progressive consultants are rumored to brief AOC on how to flip each Fox jab into fundraising gold, treating every insult as an opportunity to energize donors and grow her email list. Neither camp admits to any orchestration, but the timing of their exchanges often feels too perfect to dismiss as coincidence. Fundraising blasts from AOC's team routinely land within hours of Gutfeld's most viral monologues, while Fox promos tease upcoming segments the moment she fires back on Twitter. Whether it's careful coordination or just mutual instinct, the result is the same. Every confrontation becomes a political two-for-one, feeding the outrage economy while quietly advancing each side's strategic goals. As if the nightly sparring weren't enough, persistent whispers about AOC's long-term ambitions have injected fresh fuel into the feud. Political gossip columns and cable pundits frequently float the idea of a 2028 presidential run, framing her as the progressive heir apparent to the Democratic Party's next chapter. Even without a single formal announcement, those rumors give Gutfeld endless material, allowing him to joke that her campaign slogan would be influence first, details later. Each speculative headline triggers a new cycle of late-night monologues, conservative op-eds, and fundraising appeals, even when AOC brushes the chatter aside as media daydreaming. Strategists note that she benefits either way. The mere suggestion of a White House bid elevates her profile and draws new donors, while Gutfeld's mockery reinforces her outsider cred with young voters who relish her willingness to spar with right-wing media. The irony is that the speculation may be self-fulfilling. Every sarcastic segment and trending hashtag makes her seem more inevitable, ensuring that whether she runs or not, the story keeps both her and Gutfeld at the center of America's political entertainment machine. Every fresh exchange between Gutfeld and AOC slots neatly into America's broader culture wars, turning their personal rivalry into a shorthand for the country's deepest divides. To Gutfeld's audience, AOC embodies the rising left, a social media-savvy politician who blends climate activism, economic redistribution, and pop culture flair. To AOC's supporters, Gutfeld represents the old guard of conservative media, wielding sarcasm as a shield for policies they view as outdated. Their clashes give both sides a stage to dramatize bigger battles over capitalism, climate change, and generational power. When Gutfeld ridicules her economic plans, it becomes a proxy debate about government's role in the market. When AOC mocks his performative outrage, it's a shot at the entire conservative infotainment ecosystem. Social platforms amplify these moments, rewarding the most shareable soundbites and pushing moderate voices to the background. What might start as a quip about rent control quickly mutates into trending hashtags about freedom, socialism, or the future of democracy itself. In this environment, neither has to win the argument outright. Simply keeping the fight alive ensures they both remain central players in the nation's never-ending culture clash. At the heart of this ongoing feud lies a fascinating collision between entertainment and governance. Greg Gutfeld approaches politics like a late-night comedian armed with punchlines instead of policy papers, turning complex issues into quick-hit jokes designed for maximum shareability. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, meanwhile, operates as both lawmaker and digital influencer, blending serious legislative proposals with the charisma of a content creator. When Gutfeld ridicules her housing plans or climate initiatives, he transforms them into comedy sketches that attract viewers who might otherwise ignore policy debates. AOC responds with sharp social media threads that double as mini press releases, ensuring her policy points reach audiences far beyond C-SPAN. This interplay blurs the line between substance and spectacle, raising the question of whether voters are engaging with actual solutions or simply choosing sides in a televised roast. For cable networks and social platforms, it hardly matters the clicks roll in either way. Their rivalry shows how modern politics rewards those who can entertain while they legislate, turning serious governance into a nightly ratings contest where laughter and legislation share the same stage. If Gutfeld thrives on turning policy into punchlines, AOC thrives on turning those punchlines back into political capital. From her earliest days in Congress, she has treated media not just as a channel for messaging, but as a battlefield where every viral moment can become a fundraising weapon. Her team tracks trending hashtags, crafts rapid response tweets, and schedules live streams with the precision of a digital marketing firm. When Gutfeld mocks a proposal, she often responds with a thread that mixes humor, fact checks, and rallying cries, ensuring her supporters see her as both approachable and unflappable. This savvy extends beyond Twitter. She strategically appears on podcasts, TikTok streams, and Instagram lives to bypass traditional gatekeepers and speak directly to millions of followers. The approach frustrates her critics, who accuse her of chasing clout, but it also shields her from being defined solely by conservative commentary. Instead of retreating, she reframes every attack as proof that her ideas are resonating. In an era when attention is currency, AOC has mastered the art of flipping every Gutfeld jab into a story that strengthens her brand and keeps her agenda in the public eye. The magnetism of the Gutfeld-AOC rivalry isn't just about sharp jokes or fiery policy debates, it's about how audiences process conflict in the age of endless scrolling. Viewers tune in because the dynamic satisfies two powerful cravings at once: the thrill of tribal competition and the comfort of predictable roles. Gutfeld plays the wisecracking skeptic who punctures progressive ideals, giving his fans the satisfaction of seeing their frustrations distilled into laugh-out-loud punchlines. AOC plays the defiant reformer, offering her supporters a hero who won't back down from conservative mockery. Social media algorithms feed this loop by rewarding outrage and humor, ensuring that each new jab or clapback lands in millions of feeds within minutes. Even viewers who claim to be above politics get hooked, drawn in by the entertainment value of a rivalry that behaves more like a bingeable series than a civic debate. Each interaction provides a dopamine hit. Likes, retweets, and comment threads create the illusion of participation while deepening partisan attachment. In this way, the feud functions less as a policy argument and more as an emotional engine that keeps audiences glued to their screens night after night. For all the clicks and clout their rivalry generates, both Gutfeld and AOC have discovered that playing with outrage can backfire in unexpected ways. Gutfeld has occasionally pushed a joke too far, sparking social media storms that forced Fox to issue clarifications or quietly edit online clips. One notorious example came when he riffed on climate policy with a metaphor that critics slammed as dismissive of natural disasters, prompting even some conservative viewers to cringe. AOC, for her part, has launched clapbacks that landed awkwardly, including a sarcastic tweet about budget negotiations that was later used in attack ads portraying her as flippant about working-class concerns. Each misstep reveals the razor-thin line between viral, triumph, and public relations headache. Yet these stumbles rarely slow the cycle for long. Outrage may cause a momentary dip, but the next exchange inevitably pulls audiences back. The occasional backlash even serves a paradoxical purpose, reminding fans that their favorite combatant is bold enough to risk mistakes. In a media landscape where attention is the ultimate prize, brief controversies become just another chapter in a saga that thrives on drama, even when the sparks singe the players themselves. While AOC's quick wit and media savvy often earn her praise, her high-profile presence also means every stumble is magnified. Critics still cite her 2022 livestream on cryptocurrency regulation, where an off-the-cuff comment about resetting the market drew bipartisan rebukes and forced a next-day clarification. More recently, a joking remark about luxury landlords during a housing roundtable was clipped out of context and circulated by opponents as proof she disrespects small property owners. Even her fashion choices, once celebrated as bold, occasionally invite uncomfortable optics, like the time she wore designer sneakers to a climate rally, prompting headlines about carbon-neutral couture. Each incident fuels conservative narratives about hypocrisy, while frustrating some progressive allies who fear distraction from policy work. Yet AOC rarely retreats. Instead, she reframes criticism as evidence of how threatening her ideas are to entrenched interests, turning potential liabilities into rallying cries for her base. Supporters donate, opponents rage, and the media cycle spins on. These moments show that her greatest vulnerability is also her greatest asset, a willingness to stay visible and unfiltered, even when every word and wardrobe choice can become the next viral talking point. Behind the fiery exchanges and televised zingers, many insiders quietly wonder whether Gutfeld and AOC maintain an unspoken understanding, if not direct contact, then at least a mutual recognition that each is invaluable to the other's success. Capitol Hill aides whisper that staffers from both camps occasionally trade lighthearted comments when they cross paths in green rooms or at bipartisan receptions, hinting at a civility hidden from the cameras. Media veterans note that booking schedules and segment teasers sometimes line up with uncanny timing, as if each side anticipates the other's next move. No one claims they coordinate in secret, but the choreography of their public battles often feels too precise to be pure coincidence. Even advertisers appear to sense the rhythm, buying ad slots whenever a fresh clash seems inevitable. Whether it's instinct, coincidence, or quiet back-channel signals passed through mutual acquaintances, the effect is the same. Their rivalry operates like a carefully tuned duet. Each knows the other will deliver the next hook, ensuring the spotlight never drifts too far from a feud that keeps both of their brands humming at full volume. The Gutfeld-AOC showdown isn't just a spectacle for late-night laughs or social media spats. it shapes how millions of Americans consume and interpret politics. Their constant clashes provide easy entry points for younger viewers who might otherwise ignore congressional hearings or policy white papers, effectively turning serious national debates into shareable entertainment. Conservative pundits use Gutfeld's segments as proof that progressive policies are ripe for ridicule, while progressive organizers leverage AOC's rebuttals to energize volunteers and donors. The result is a political environment where complex issues, housing reform, climate legislation, taxation, are filtered through the lens of personal rivalry before reaching the public. This framing not only deepens partisan divides but also influences fundraising priorities, media coverage, and even legislative strategy. Lawmakers on both sides have admitted that a single viral clip from either Gutfeld or AOC can reshape the next day's talking points on Capitol Hill. In effect, their feud operates like a shadow committee, setting the emotional agenda long before official votes take place. What began as a string of comedic jabs now functions as a cultural force that dictates which ideas dominate America's political conversation. With another election cycle looming and speculation swirling about AOC's long-term ambitions, the stage is set for even bigger fireworks in the months ahead. Gutfeld shows no sign of retiring his favorite foil. Insiders at Fox hint that producers are already crafting new segments that blend comedy with preemptive critiques of her rumored 2028 plans. AOC, meanwhile, continues to sharpen her digital arsenal, experimenting with interactive live streams and short-form videos that can counter conservative talking points within minutes of broadcast. Upcoming battles over climate funding, housing reform, and tech regulation all provide fertile ground for fresh clashes, each one a guaranteed ratings boost for late-night television and a fundraising spark for progressive activists. Social platforms, hungry for engagement, will amplify every quip and counterpunch, ensuring that even minor disagreements explode into national trending topics. Whether either side secretly tires of the routine hardly matters. The incentives are too strong, the audience too eager. As long as outrage fuels algorithms and laughter drives late-night ratings, the Gutfeld-AOC rivalry will remain a defining spectacle of modern American politics, with new chapters waiting to ignite at the first hint of controversy. The saga of Gutfeld versus AOC offers a revealing blueprint for how politics and media now operate in a shared feedback loop. Their feud demonstrates that in the digital age, attention is the real currency, policy details matter, but only when wrapped in spectacle. Each exchange shows how a single soundbite can outmuscle a 100-page bill, how a late-night quip can shape next-day headlines, and how a viral tweet can spark fundraising surges on both sides of the aisle. Traditional boundaries between journalism, entertainment, and campaigning blur as producers, donors, and social platforms all profit from the conflict. For aspiring politicians, the lesson is clear. Mastering the art of narrative warfare may be as crucial as drafting legislation. For media creators, the takeaway is equally stark. Comedy and controversy are more reliable drivers of engagement than sober analysis. Viewers, meanwhile, become both consumers and participants, rewarding those who deliver emotional hits over nuanced debate. Whether celebrated as clever strategy or lamented as democratic decay, the Gutfeld-AOC rivalry stands as a case study in how modern politics thrives on drama and why no one in the arena has much incentive to change the game. Even if their policies, careers, or media platforms eventually shift, the dynamic between Greg Gutfeld and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has already taken on a life of its own. It functions less like a series of isolated spats and more like an ongoing franchise, one that networks, donors, and algorithms are eager to renew season after season. Viewers have grown accustomed to the rhythm. Gutfeld delivers a sly monologue, AOC fires back with a sharp tweet or live stream, pundits dissect the exchange, and social feeds churn with memes until the next spark arrives. This cycle creates an addictive narrative that doesn't depend on any single policy, fight, or election date. The personalities themselves are the plot. Even if Gutfeld were to pivot to new targets, or AOC chose a quieter legislative path, the story would linger, ready to reignite the moment either steps back into the spotlight. In a media landscape that rewards drama above resolution, their rivalry has become less about winning arguments and more about sustaining the show, and for audiences conditioned to crave the next twist, that may be the most powerful outcome of all. For all the attention lavished on Gutfeld and AOC, the real drivers of this spectacle may be the viewers themselves. Every retweet, meme, and late-night rating is a vote for more of the same, signaling to networks and political teams that outrage is the fastest route to influence. Audiences might feel like passive spectators, but their clicks and comments determine which clips go viral and which narratives dominate the next news cycle. This feedback loop rewards the most provocative exchanges, nudging both Gutfeld and AOC to deliver sharper jabs and quicker responses. It also creates a paradox. Fans who claim to despise political theater are often the ones sharing the most dramatic moments. Recognizing this dynamic doesn't mean abandoning entertainment altogether, but it does challenge viewers to consider how their own engagement shapes the incentives that keep the feud alive. Whether cheering Gutfeld's jokes or applauding AOC's clapbacks, every like and share helps script the next episode. In the end, the audience isn't just watching the show, they're co-writing it, ensuring the rivalry thrives as long as attention remains the ultimate prize. After years of zingers, viral tweets, and headline-grabbing moments, the Greg Gutfeld-AOC rivalry stands as a perfect emblem of 21st-century politics, endlessly entertaining, strategically useful, and nearly impossible to escape. What began as a handful of late-night jokes and fiery social media replies has evolved into a self-sustaining spectacle that feeds television ratings, campaign coffers, and social platform algorithms in equal measure. Neither participant needs to win a debate or change a single vote to claim victory. The very act of keeping the feud alive delivers the rewards. For Gutfeld, every segment reinforces his image as the irreverent conservative comic who can outwit Washington insiders. For AOC, each clapback strengthens her status as the fearless progressive willing to spar with the right's most visible voices. Viewers, meanwhile, remain both the audience and the engine, their engagement ensuring that this political drama continues long after the credits should roll. Whether you see it as clever strategy or a cautionary tale about democracy's new entertainment economy, one thing is clear. The curtain never truly falls when the spotlight itself is the prize. And that brings us to the end of this deep dive into a rivalry that's less about winning arguments and more about keeping the spotlight blazing. Greg Gutfeld and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have turned their public clashes into a never-ending performance where every joke, clapback, and trending hashtag feeds an audience hungry for the next twist. It's politics rewritten as primetime entertainment, and it shows no sign of slowing down. Whether you cheer for Gutfeld's late-night sarcasm or AOC's fearless rebuttals, one thing is certain, their duel says as much about us, the viewers, as it does about them. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more eye-opening stories like this, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell so you never miss an update. Now it's your turn. Who do you think benefits more from this rivalry, Gutfeld or AOC? Drop your answer in the comments below and let's see where the audience stands in this never-ending show.